What humbles Leslie and I most about being members of Cathedral of Faith is that we are not only the recipients of inspiring messages, but we have a chance to be engaged community members through those messages. Thank you, Pastor. Impact. We all want to make a positive impact on our community inside and outside the walls of Cathedral of Faith. And that is what we try to do at my day job as well at the Silicon Valley Leadership Group, where we try to live by 3 principles. And so this is the congregation participation portion of our time together. If you wouldn't mind, I'm going to ask you to stand. Stand for just a moment. Here are our 3 principles. First, we set ambitious, audacious stretch goals. So we're all going to stretch up for those ambitious goals. We're going to go up on our toes. We're going to reach with our fingers because we're setting ambitious goals. Really well done. Now, second one, you need to be careful because I don't want you to put the eyes out of the people next to you. And Cathedral of Faith does not need a workers' comp claim against it. So really carefully, we also reach out to build bridges rather than burn bridges down. We reach out. And then finally, we remember that we need to bend down to lift others up, just as we have been lifted up by our Lord. Now, I used to be able to touch my toes, but I recently had my legs lengthened, and I can't do that. But we reach down and we grab up other people and families in our communities, and we slowly, without throwing out my 58-year-old back, we slowly bring them up with us. Those are our principles. Those are the principles of Cathedral of Faith. Please sit down. You just burned off 4 calories.
Yeah.
You're welcome. Go back with me. Thanksgiving morning, 2004. My wife Leslie and I flip on the radio, and the journalist is talking about, quote, 20,000 people downtown running and walking to help feed the hungry. But here's the kicker. That journalist was not talking about wealthy Silicon Valley and San Jose. He was talking about the much smaller community of Sacramento in their annual run to feed the hungry. And my wife and I looked at each other at that moment and said, someone ought to do that here. And we had that epiphany moment that maybe somebody was us. Full confession. We, up to that point, we had been what I call talkers and takers. We were marathon runners and Ironman triathletes, and we would show up at races expecting everyone to cater to us. And we had to switch from being talkers and takers to what Cathedral of Faith is all about, people who are doers and donors. And so we decided right then, that we would become race directors of Silicon Valley Turkey Trot. We had 365 days, so it seemed easy. Applied Materials captured that vision, entrusted us with $100,000, with the only agreement that we had to be able to donate at least $101,000 back to needy families in our region. And 365 days out, that seemed fine with us. But then 10 days before race day came, 2005. Here's the good news. We had 300 people signed up as volunteers to help our athletes. Here's the not so good news. We had 100 athletes signed up. We had 3 volunteers for every athlete. That is customer service. Yeah. 9 days later, the Lord does what the Lord does. He opened the floodgates, and race morning, not 100, 1,900 people participated.
That's awesome.
Year 1, 132,000 to great nonprofits serving needy families throughout our region. But this is where it gets exciting when the Lord blesses something. 14 years later, the first 14 years, we've been able to contribute back $8.9 million.
Praise God. Wow. That's awesome.
And the last 6 years in a row, we have been the largest time Thanksgiving Day run in the world. I like to say in the galaxy. But we weren't setting out to be the biggest. We wanted to be the most compassionate, as Pastor Ken talked about this morning. And impact, as I started, was and is our mission. If we can put up on the screen the impact of this year's goal that we call Mission 1 Million. This year alone, if we can raise $1 million, here's the impact we can have. Second harvest of Santa Clara and San Mateo counties, that's 520,000 more nutritious meals. Through our Housing Trust Silicon Valley, 300 of our neighbors who will be out on the streets and living in our creeks tonight, homeless, will have permanent, sustainable, supportive housing.
That's great, Carl.
Our Health Trust, 3,000 people living with chronic medical conditions today served. Our Healthier Kids Foundation, 3,100 poor kids in East San Jose will have dental, vision, and hearing
That's awesome.
checks. And the agricultural community of Santa Cruz County, 440,000 more nutritious
Praise God.
meals.
Oh, that's awesome.
Our pastor's message this morning about Matthew 25, 34 through 40 is the turkey trot. Remember what it said. I was hungry and you fed me. Second Harvest Food Bank. I was homeless and you gave me a room. Housing Trust, Silicon Valley. I was sick and you looked after me. The Health Trust and the Healthier Kids Foundation. Cathedral of Faith, together we can make a huge difference within our walls of our church and, even more exciting, outside of the walls of this church. Thank you for letting me
That's
share.
awesome, Carl. Man, that's great. Oh, what a great vision. What a great heart. I want you to stand with me.